Necromunda is a world defined by gangs, industry, and grinding misery. A planet where billions toil so the Imperium can keep its lumens on, its guns firing, and its wars waged. And towering over all of it, quite literally, stands Hive Primus. Home to the noble spires of House Helmore, the beating heart of Imperial authority on Necromunda. And perched high above the smog, ash, and underhive filth, a fortress monastery to the Sons of Dawn. Because if there's one thing Necromunda needed on top of everything else, it's a bunch of genetically engineered, hi-vis, armoured, hyper-disciplined Sons of Rogel Dawn, silently judging everyone from a fortress. Unlike most Space Marine chapters, the Imperial Fists don't just visit Necromunda for a weekend getaway, they stay. Their presence on the planet dates back millennia, to a time when Necromunda faced an existential threat, a full-scale orc invasion that overwhelmed multiple hive cities. The Imperial Fists were dispatched to deal with it. And being the Imperial Fists, they did what they always do. They fortified. They endured. And then they methodically wiped the orcs out. Or so they say. But when the war was over, the Fists didn't leave. Necromunda was too important, too productive, too valuable to the Imperium to be left without direct Astartes oversight. So the Imperial Fists established a permanent foothold on the planet. Not a crusading force, not an occupying army, but a watchful presence. High on Hive Primus, above even the noble spires, stands the Imperial Fists' fortress monastery. This isn't just a barracks, it's not a shrine, it's not a tourist attraction. It's a bastion of Imperial authority, constructed in classic Dawnian fashion. Brutal, functional, and built like it's expecting a siege that might last 3 centuries. Which, knowing Necromunda, isn't unreasonable. The fortress monastery serves several purposes. A defensive strongpoint protecting Hive Primus, a symbol of Imperial presence, and crucially, a recruitment centre. Because yes, Necromunda is officially one of the Imperial Fists' recruiting worlds. And if you're wondering why they'd recruit from a radioactive hellhole full of knife-wielding, pink-haired teenagers and industrial accidents, the answer is simple. That's exactly why. The Imperial Fists value endurance, discipline, pain tolerance, and the ability to function under relentless pressure. Necromunda produces people who are born into all 4. Potential recruits are drawn from across the planet, sometimes even from the underhive, selected not for nobility, but for resilience. Of course, survival on Necromunda does not mean survival through Space Marine gene seed implantation. Many aspirants die, many more fail. But those who endure become something else entirely. And somewhere deep in the underhive, a gang might whisper that one of their own was taken by the yellow tradies in the sky, and never seen again. Now let's talk about House Helmore. House Helmore is not just another noble house. They are the Imperial House, the planetary governors of Necromunda, ruling in the Emperor's name. Their authority is feudal, hereditary, and brutally enforced, but it is also legitimate under Imperial law. And the Imperial Fist's relationship with House Helmore is careful. They're not bodyguards, they are not enforcers for political disputes, they do not play succession games or house politics. Instead, they serve as something far more terrifying. A reminder. A reminder that Necromunda belongs to the Imperium, that tithes must be paid, that loyalty must be maintained, and if things spiral too far out of control, the Imperium will intervene. Think of the Imperial Fists as the ultimate compliance inspector. The kind that doesn't raise their voice, doesn't make threats, but if they catch you on a cheeky low-stick break behind the manufacturer, you'll be hearing from HR in the morning. They just stand there in hi-vis, ridiculously garish yellow power armour, arms folded across a clipboard, silently judging your structural integrity. All of this uneasy balance finally begins to crack during the events known as the Aranthian succession. With the incapacitation and presumed death of Lord Gerontius Helmore, or Jonty to his mates, Necromunda is plunged into political chaos. Claimants rise, alliances fracture, and into this power vacuum steps something deeply unnatural. Eddie from Iron Maiden, aka Azostium Aranthus, or Ozzy to his mates. An ancient inhuman entity, a relic of Aranthus Prime's darkest past, and a being that dares to claim rulership over Hive Primus itself. This isn't just a political problem. This is a Marks and Spencer problem, an Imperial problem. Because Aranthus doesn't merely challenge House Helmore, he challenges Imperial authority, history, and legitimacy. The audacity! And that is where the Imperial Fists stop observing and start paying direct attention. Throughout much of the Aranthian succession, the Imperial Fists remain restrained. They do not deploy en masse, they do not storm the spire, they do not cleanse the planet in fire. Why? Because as long as Necromunda continues to pay its tithes, maintain the appearance of imperial rule, and avoid open heresy, the Imperium tolerates a shocking amount of internal violence. But Azostium Aranthus crosses a line. He seeks to rewrite Imperial history, to present himself as a rightful ruler independent of the Imperium, to turn Hive Primus into something that no longer answers to terror. And that simply won't do, boys and girls. At the climax of the Aranthian succession, the Imperial Fists deliver an ultimatum. Clear, unambiguous, and utterly Dornian. House Helmore, or those loyal to it, are given a fixed time limit of 100 days to restore order, eliminate Ozzy Aranthus and his shiny cronies, and re-establish uncontested Imperial authority on Necromunda. Failure will result in direct Imperial intervention. And when the Imperial Fists say intervention, they don't mean negotiations. It's not like Christopher in The Sopranos. Oh no. They mean sanctions, blockades, military action, and potentially the end of Necromunda's autonomy altogether. This is the Imperium reminding the planet who truly owns it. Not the gangs, not the noble houses and guilds, not the Spire Lords. The Emperor is the true daddy of Necromunda. The Imperial Fists are not heroes in this story. They're not villains either. As Dawn would say, they are the Wall. Immovable, unyielding, and utterly indifferent to individual suffering. They don't care who runs Necromunda, only that it remains productive, loyal, and stable. They're also the type to listen to Coldplay over Iron Maiden, unfortunately. And if Necromunda can't manage all of that on its own, well, that fortress above Hive Primus wasn't built for decoration, now was it? So the next time you're running a campaign in the Underhive, the next time your gang is fighting over scraps, territory, or ancient grudges, remember, high above you, behind meters thick ceramite walls, stand the Sons of Rogel Dawn, watching, waiting, probably listening to Coldplay, and very patiently making sure the Emperor's paperwork stays in order. Because on Necromunda, even chaos has a compliance deadline.